I didn't hear from Bob, did
I
anybody
didn't
else?
hear either.
Are we ready?
Yep, we are good.
All right, it is 6:01, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Tasia, would you do roll call, please?
Yep, Catherine Cranston. Here. Katie Thurman. Here. Bruce Belargin.
Here.
Roxanne Kendall.
Here.
Patty Jo Forsberg. Here. Lori Belargin.
Here.
Bob Gunther.
Protocols are attached. Our district mission, together we engage, educate, and empower all learners, bridging their passions to pathways to create successful futures and positively contribute to our local and global communities. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, I did not receive any emails, did you?
Nothing.
All right, number 5, construction update, Mark.
Just a couple pieces here. As you can see, if you've driven around a roundabout, they're pouring the east side of the curbing tomorrow. The sidewalks got poured today, which will greatly help with the walkers. They're looking at blacktop next week sometime, and that will help a little bit of the traffic here. Just there's a lot of apprehension going around there in the construction zone, but it's been flowing really smooth. And I'm gonna, in the reopening thing, I'll talk a little bit more about the traffic flow. Bit by bit, they're getting the buildings put back together. There's still some technology pieces here and there. They've been locating more smart boards and some of the things that people have taken home over the summer, and so that's been a little holdup. But the IT, I think I forwarded you a note from Trish that they were working all weekend here, and again, it's just a process of working through. One of our biggest hangups were that I'm trying to think what they're called, if they're called repeaters or the routers, whatever, were up in the ceilings that were disconnected, and some were taken down, some they can't find, or they're up in the ceiling somewhere. They had to reorder, and just so to get connectivity, throughout the buildings and that's been, slowly improving there. So again, it's just there's no surprises right now. The fencing is going in this week around the ponds, this week or the first part of next week. And all the sprinklers are out now. The grass is taking root. They're starting to cut it, and the site looks great. The buildings are functioning well, but again, I'll talk about that in this next one. So if I can, is there any questions about construction? Our next meeting will probably, we canceled the POC today. We're gonna have a meeting, and we have call an owners meeting on Thursday. We only need one of these a week, so we switched it to Thursday. And we'll probably have at our next work session, probably a lot more in-depth cleanup of the project as far as where we stand, because we'll pretty much have 99% of everything done and bills in and what have you, so we'll give a pretty comprehensive update then. As far as reopening, internally, the buildings are functioning well as far as with the kids, the flow, a lot of great comments about the buildings. They really like the new style, what have you. It'd be nice if we could have an open house for the public, but we just can't do that right now until things calm down, and then we'll schedule something. I want to talk just a little bit about traffic flow, because you've probably heard from neighbors down in the meadows, or other people that there's been some Facebook jawing about jam ups and what have you. Well, the site wasn't designed to take on twice as much traffic as we had in the past. With that said, we're trying a couple different things that should help. In the past, we've only had 2 entrances and exits. We've had the Meadows and we've had Bruce Larson. Now we have 3. However, the cul-de-sac, I keep calling it cul-de-sac, the roundabout construction, again, is slowing things a little bit now because we got a lot of construction going on there. Once that's cleaned up, that will help flow that. We're trying to exit more people out around behind the building, which is fine up to Bruce Larson. We've been trying in the short term, we've told people, come in through the meadows, so avoid left-hand turns. That's what's jamming up everything. In the morning, everything flows beautiful. It just flows smooth because people come at different times. In the afternoon pickup, school ends around 3:15, 3:20. People are there 2:45, and they sit, and they block the traffic. Because we don't have a turning lane, left turning lane down by the elementary. What we had before was a three-way stop, which allowed people to move. So there's some things that, I really wanna, George and I are gonna meet on this, and I worked with Chief Joel about some things that we can do to help move traffic without really going into some heavy construction, like creating a right turn lane from the meadows as you come in, because cars stack up there and then they block the road because there's no right turning lane really until you get down closer. And then a kind of a bypass going into the elementary as you're coming in, from the roundabout way there, cars back up, and even the buses have to go around the cars on the left-hand side that are parked. So on the extreme, we could do some things with turning lanes, but I don't think we need to be there yet. I think we still need to give it some time for people to find their way and their flow through the campus. But I want to try some things with signage, like that three-way stop that we had before. Down by the middle school, there's a bit of a bind where the kids come out of the high school parking lot and try to hit the main road, and then people turning into the middle school. So what creates there is the elementary people come over and they're in line and they want to leave the site, but they're stuck behind the middle school people wanting to get in. So there is room for a middle lane to bypass all that. I stood out there, I set up cones and created a third lane and got people to go there, and it really helped. The problem was, though, the kids trying to get out of the high school parking lot into that main flow. So again, we may do something with some stop signs there, and you've probably seen these half signs where in the morning you don't need stop signs there, but in the afternoon to put the sign down so people will let kids in and out of the high school parking lot. The other option is there is room in that parking lot that we could put a pass from the high school parking lot into that bus circle over there, which wouldn't impede the buses at all, but it would be a flow out through Bruce Larson Way, like just from the parking lot. So there's some things we can do, but I want to take it a step at a time to see if the most expensive is when we start tearing these roads up. If we can do it with signage, we'll try that first. And a little bit of education. I want to wait to see that roundabout get fixed or finished, and then see how things work up there, because right now with the walkers and no sidewalks, people are just so apprehensive and cautious because, kids are crossing, and we've got crossing guards there, but just like I say, today the sidewalks were poured. So we give it another week or so, and then we'll make some more decisions on what's gonna happen there. And again, the use of the meadows or telling people to come through that way is a temporary deal. They've always come that way, but when you say that, now it's like, uh-oh, we have more traffic. And if you really look at the way the sidewalks are down there, the traffic flow through there should not bother the kids, because if they're on that side, they cross and they come up to our sidewalk, they're not mingling with the cars that come off of the main highway that take the right. So again, we'll get it, we're working on it. So, but the layout and the design of the site, it's doing what it was designed for, but now with this heavier load of cars, it's just, we gotta figure it out. So that's all I have on the construction and the reopening. We'll talk a little bit about this later, but with the reopening, comes some of the fears that we had with the virus and that, and we've got some situations there that are pinching us a bit now with staff. So, and again, we can talk about that later.
Did anybody have any questions or comments?
I just have a comment, and I think we should have some patience, because I don't think we should do anything rash. I think signage and cones and things like that for a while. people are panicked and maybe we're gonna have a lot more people driving their kids and come winter or people find out maybe the bus is safe, we might have more people using the bus and less traffic. I just think we need to have some patience and calm down.
I was thinking the same thing, Catherine. Do we know approximately what percentage of bus riders are not riding the bus?
Well, we'll find out now that it takes a little bit here to see who's taking, who's riding, who
Yeah.
isn't. Because, you know, they'll sign up and, you know, on paper, our buses
Okay.
are full.
Okay.
But in reality, you know, we know we have twice as many cars out there than we ever had before. And we've got about the same queuing, maybe a little more queuing as we had in the past, but now they're just backed up.
Without the traffic part, how is the setup for drop-off? Is that going well?
The drop-off is going really well. I'm over at the middle school some days, the elementary. It flows really well because everyone comes at different times.
Yeah.
You know, and there isn't people waiting. That's what gums up the whole works at the middle school and elementary. It's people wait and then people can't get around them. So, you know, we could try some things like, you know, maybe some staggered releases. But again, there's some things we can try before we really dig into the, you know, some dollars for things that happen. We'll get it, but I think, you know, like, as Catherine says, you know, just be patient. A lot of these things, people find their way around the site. You know, we don't have it marked over here where, you know, when you come to the high school and just turn to the DO, you can exit that way. And if we had a sign there, you know, exit campus, that will take people around the back of the building rather than out through the roundabout on our side. So there's little things like that that, you know, people will learn and we can train.
Anything else? All right then, topics for action. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I move to approve, topics 7A, B, and C, if I can.
I'll second.
And Tasia, will you, include the amounts in the minutes? Any questions or discussion? All in
I
favor?
have one question about the, Somerset invoice. So it kinda indicates that it's like is this just the first of several others? Or, cause it says
Yeah, I would imagine that is.
for the roundabout,
If I remember, I'm trying to remember, the total bill was like 130, or if that was how much we saved.
No, we saved that. It's gonna be around 2.25, or
200.
250, I believe, right in that neighborhood.
So this is the first.
Because it was up around 400 with the original bid we had.
okay, that's all.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Catherine? what's
I
wrong?
did have it once around the table, and I forgot it.
Oh, no.
It was the strategic plan.
Oh, yes, right, because don't we usually review the strategic plan sometime during the year, like in the spring?
Spring,
And I
correct.
don't think we did
We
because of
didn't.
COVID.
We didn't because of that.
Okay, so my suggestion is at some point, let's review it, before the end of the before the end of the year.
Well, what the plan is with that, you know, just like several other things, we're moving those result statements and that work to this year. So it's like we're repeating that third year.
Yep, I would like that official, that it's on the agenda, and if we officially move them, but I just think we need to review it.
Anything else? Katie?
No.
Nothing for me?
For virtual learning, I want to thank Brandon for working tirelessly all weekend and today on our first day. It went, but he was communicating with all of us this weekend to get everyone their logins, to get all those things, so it's greatly appreciated.
Bruce, did you have anything?
No.
And I think I'm good too. Would anybody like to make a motion? Well, I'll make a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 1G to confer with legal counsel to render oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the board with respect to litigation in which it is likely to become involved. Would anyone care to second?
I second.
Any questions or discussion?
I think we need to amend the agenda if possible to include the entire statute, because there's no such statute as 1G.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, you mean the numbers beforehand?
So that people can look later. I didn't notice that before. But I could probably get, do you want me to find the,
well, I'm looking at a previous agenda, or I'm looking for one.
I think it's just important that people.
I got it, 19.85.
Yeah.
So the motion is amended to include the correct state statute.
And you're okay with me updating the agenda?
Please,
Okay.
that would be awesome. Yeah.
Any further questions or discussion? Thank you for catching that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.